Tingles with flyby. Hello, my tinglings, and welcome to my top 10 musicals. Today I'll be sharing with you my top 10 musicals. I was thinking about restricting this to just movies, but there's a couple musicals that I really love, but I don't really have enough to make a full list of musicals that I've seen as plays, and so I've just made it a general musical list, so I have some plays and some movies. So let's go ahead and get started with the list. Number 10 is Hello, Dolly. If you've seen my top 10 most rewatchable movies video, you'll know that Hello, Dolly comes in at number 2 on that list, and it's kind of an interesting thing, I guess, about what different metrics kind of bring out of you. Because, yeah, rewatchability, Hello, Dolly is just so high on that. But when I think about it as a musical, well, I think it makes my top 10, but right in at number 10. It's got good music and dancing and everything like that, but when comparing it to these other ones, well, number 10 is a good spot for it. So, that's why Hello, Dolly is my number 10. Is Titanic the musical. This is not the film. It's a Broadway musical. I think it's been off Broadway for a really long time. But I saw it back in probably the late 90s. I don't know, I was I think I was like 11 or 12 maybe when I saw it. And I enjoyed it a lot. It was really good. Focused a bit more, it was a bit more general across all, different passengers and that sort of thing. But one of the most impactful, scenes to me was when the captain is going down with the ship. But there's lots of really good music in there, and just a really interesting look at the Titanic, but with some really nice music as well. So if you ever get a chance to see it, I highly recommend seeing it. It was a really good production. So that's why Titanic is my number 9. Is The Prince of Egypt. This movie is I really like the animation, and it feels so epic in scale. I really do love that, because whenever I think about Moses parting the Red Sea, I never actually thought about it being as big as they made it in this movie. I think it's also, though, because I think I saw something where he parted the Red Sea in like an animated movie, like just a really like cheapy little production, and I think it was just like a little river, so I think that kind of stuck with me. But anyway, but just to see the grand scale, and oh, there's just such powerful music. One of my favorite is when the plagues are happening and all the plagues are going around, and it's a great song. This is what you want. I will never let your people go. I don't remember what it's called exactly, actually. I think it's Let My People Go. Maybe. Anyway, really good song. So that's actually one of my favorite songs from the movie. The song I always sing from the movie is You Will When You Believe, I think is what it's called. There's also a Mariah Carey Whitney Houston version, which was really good as well. I bought the soundtrack of that movie because I had to have it. Back in the day when you bought soundtracks. But anyway, so it was, yeah, just the music was very powerful, and that song I love to sing. I sing it a lot if I'm, trying to put my nieces to sleep or something like that, like back in the day, or trying to comfort somebody by singing, then that's one of the songs I sing. It's a really, I don't know, just a really good song. Anyway, and the movie, obviously when I first watched it, I was religious, and today I think I would still enjoy it. I don't think I would believe that there's any real truth to it, but that's okay. Well, actually, I don't really know what I think about Moses because I haven't done much research into that sort of thing. Tangent. Anyway, so it's got great music. That's kind of the most important thing for a musical. But I do really love just it feels like an epic scale, and that makes it feel very, very big and like quite a production. So that's why Prince of Egypt is my number 8. Number 7 is Grease. Now, there are problematic gender things within this movie. The whole concept of her having, basically her changing herself to get with a guy, very problematic, but, acknowledging that, but now putting that to the side, it's just such a fun movie. It's got lots of great music. You got Grease Lightning, you got Tell Me More, that's what it's called. You got Tell Me More. You got, it's funny because Look at Me, I'm Sandra Dee. It's a fun one when she's having a sleepover with the Pink Ladies. That song, me and my cousin actually made a kind of parody version of when I was young, 13, 14 probably. Just swimming in the middle of Bear Lake, which is in Utah. That's where her dad's family lived, because we're related through her mom, so it was kind of her other family, but I went to visit her there anyway, so we were swimming at Bear Lake, and we're singing, Look at me, I'm Psycho D, lousy with my sanity, won't go to bed till I'm legally dead, I can't, I'm Psycho D. So that was our little song. Tangent, just a real quick tangent. And we also were singing, because I think it was around the time that Titanic had come out, and so we were singing My Farts Will Go On instead of My Hearts Will Go On. they were having fun. Anyway, maybe I should do a video about her and me. We've had some interesting adventures. Anyway, we'll think about that. But yeah, Grease, it's got a lot of fun music. It's got style, good dancing. All the beauty school songs I don't like that much. But anyway, it's pretty decent. So Grease is my number 7. Number 6 is Newsies. I love Newsies so much. Christian Bale is a strapping young man. Anyway, just a real, this is very, very good. Lots of great music. So easy to sing along with. Immediately think, that's my cigar, you're still another. Hey, bummers, we got work to do. Since when did you become me, mother? I stop your balling. Hey, who asked you? Anyway, great song, great music. It's, and just fun, about the little guy getting back. The results are not, because it's based on a real story, and there was a strike, and it did change something, but it didn't kind of change as massively as they make in the movie. They still did put it ahead, but I don't remember the exact details. But anyway, Newsies, such a fun movie. Really great to watch again and again and again, and great to put on and dance to, and a lot of fun. So if you haven't seen it, you should see it. It's so good. You gotta love Newsies. So that's why it's my number 6. Is Phantom of the Opera. This will be both the musical and the movie. I did really enjoy the movie as well, but I liked Phantom before that. I'm not sure if I think I've seen it on stage once. But my earliest memory of Phantom of the Opera is we were over at my neighbor's house for a Super Bowl, which is just our next door neighbor, and I was, 9 or 10, probably that type of age, and she was making a tape for my sister of Phantom of the Opera, the soundtrack, because she really wanted it. Anyway, and so then we started listening to it a lot, and and she used to go like this to me, my sister, doing the turn away thing, because she went, I must have been 9, because my sister went to see it with my mom when she turned 12. It was kind of like their special thing when she turned 12. They went on this trip. And so, so around the music, and then, I really, really enjoyed the movie. I saw it, I don't know, it's probably the last movie that I saw before a movie that will make it into my honorable mentions, and it's a musical, so not giving away anything early, but anyway, up until that movie, that I think I saw multiple times at the theater, or multiple times. Anyway, so Phantom of the Opera, got a lot of great music. There's not a song in Phantom of the Opera that I don't like. So I think all of the ones up to this point, maybe Hello Dolly, I don't think has any songs that I don't necessarily like. but all the other ones have a song that I'm kind of like, not so keen on that one. But Phantom of the Opera, all the music's really good. Some of it I didn't like when I was a lot younger, and it's grown on me as time's worn on. So, yeah, it's really classic. If you haven't seen the movie, you should go see it. Not if you're too young, though. My niece used to have, like, bad nightmares about the Phantom when she was really young, because it was scary. But I think she saw it when she was, like, 4, so it was pretty young. Oh, I think she was, like, 2 or 3, actually, not 4 or 5. She's a bit younger. She got, very scared by it, so obviously be a little bit older, basically. Anyway, it's a good movie, so that's a good movie, good musical. That's why Phantom of the Opera is my number 5. Number 4 is Les Miserables. This is the play. I haven't actually seen the movie yet. That's the musical. I've seen the Liam Neeson movie. I love that movie. So good. It's just a little kind of snapshot part of the whole story. The play is a bit more, but yeah, I think I've seen the play twice. I've definitely seen it once, but I feel like I've seen it a second time as well. But, Jean Valjean, and, working for his loaf, for stealing a loaf of bread, and just all that he goes through to create a new life and a new identity, and then he's getting caught. Anyway, a great story, obviously, and then the music is just so memorable. Yeah, just got a really great score though. Lots of great music. Love pretty much everything. And I remember when my older cousin, she came to live with us, because we lived in DC, and she came from Idaho. That's where my mom grew up. And so she came there because she was going to Gallaudet to do her, I don't remember if it was master. I think she came for her master's, and then she stayed for a doctorate as well. I don't know if she did a doctorate. Anyway, I think it was her master's. And so she was living with us while she was doing her master's. And she had this part of the song that she loved in Do You Hear the People Sing? No, was it? Anyway. And so she was just sharing it the way the guy sang it, until we used to then hate it when we listened to it in a different version, that they don't have that way that guy sang it. It's funny. But anyway, so we used to listen to Les Mis a bit with her. And then we went to see it as well. But I think I've seen it a second time as well. Just a really, really great show. I need to see the movie, but I haven't yet. Definitely on my list, so I'm sure it'll just be kind of like Phantom of the Opera, and it'll be movie and play once I see it like that, and probably retain its position, unless it goes up, but I'm not going to do another video. Anyway, so, Les Mis, it's great. I haven't seen the movie, but I still recommend seeing it. I've heard it's good, so it must be good. And the story is great, and it's got lots of great music, so Les Mis, my number 4. Is Wicked, the play. Wicked is a lot of fun. It's a reimagining of the Wizard of Oz, kind of, but from the Wicked Witch's perspective. Her name's Elphaba. And so you get to hear about kind of her history and that sort of thing. It's really, really interesting. It's a lot of fun. And, yeah, it's got a lot of great music. I've listened to that more times than I can even remember. And it's got some meaningful songs as well. So, me and my roommate, we used to, we'd go and, like, sing, because we can both play piano, but she plays better than me. So, she would accompany us, and we would just sing lots of songs from musicals. But yeah, one of our favorites was just to sing the songs from Wicked. And one of my favorite was For Good, because it has a great 2-part song with Glinda and Elphaba. And yeah, it's got a great message as well, but there's also lots of other ones. Gravity's probably the most notable song. When you first hear it, you just feel like, oh, that's a really good song. But probably For Good is actually my more preferred song after a bit more time. I don't know. No, there's lots of good ones, because I'm like, oh, but there's also, what's it called? Just for This Moment. That's a good one as well. And then there's one where she's talking about that no good deed goes unpunished. It's a good song as well. Lots of good songs. And then you got Popular. Oh, no, so much good music. And just great. You should try and listen to the album. Definitely worth listening to. And then if you ever get a chance to see it, go see it. It's really good. So that's why Wicked is my number 3. Number 2 is Aida. Aida it's a really fun take on, it's a story about, I don't know if it's actually based on the opera at all or not. I've still never determined that, because I don't know what the opera's about, because there's an opera called Aida as well. But Aida is about a woman who's living in, she's a Nubian princess, and then she gets, they get invaded, and so she gets taken to Egypt. Anyway, and then there's, kind of a love story between her and the prince in Egypt, who's going to be king. Because he's supposed to be marrying the daughter of the king, so it's supposed to be a political marriage, but then he's falling for this Nubian princess, and, anyway. But the music on that one is so, so good. It's so fun. It's just so fun. Like Father, Like Son, such a fun song. In life, one has to face a huge assortment of nauseating facts and good advice. What's that song called? There's health and fitness, diet and deployment. Other pointless forms of sacrifice. Conversation, wit. I am a doubter. No way to impress. How I dress, I think it is. I am what I wear. And how I dress. Anyway. As you can see, just thinking about the song just makes me need to sing it and dance. Okay. Restraining myself. It's fun though. I saw it, because it had just come off Broadway when I was in college, and so BYU was putting it on as their production, and then there was a local community theater that was putting it on. So I think I saw it 3 or 4 times. Had so much fun. It was so great, even with the community productions. It was just so fun to see. It was amazing. And yeah, so if you ever see it around, definitely go see it. It's worth it. So good, so good, so good. It's just so much fun. So much fun. Anyway, so that's why Aida is my number 2. I have 3 honorable mentions. For my most recent obsession with The Greatest Showman, I had to include it on my list. When my nieces and my dad were here, my nieces kept playing the soundtrack to The Greatest Showman. I was like, getting really into the music. So then when they left, I was like, oh, okay, let's go see The Greatest Showman. Then my niece was annoyed that I hadn't taken her with us while she was here, but we were so busy, and then when they left I had time. Anyway, I also discovered this theater that had electrically reclining seats, which we sat in the front row, and I almost preferred the front row to anywhere else, because you could sit back and it was just, they're in front of you. So that was really great, and a lot of fun. It's got great music. All the music's great. The plot, though, that's where it's getting a few tick marks off. The one scene that really annoys me is when the Zac Efron character shows up at the theater and is like, oh, I didn't think you would show up if I didn't, if I told you that I wanted to ask you out. I'm like, well, she's a woman with her own autonomy, so you don't have to do that. Anyway, I didn't like that. I was like, really? In 2018, we're still doing this? Because it's such a overused trope in Hollywood as well. And then there are lots of other, like Barnum's character with how he treats his show staff. It's kind of like at one time he's like, oh, you're special because you're different, and then, oh, hey, I don't want you around because you're gonna embarrass me, and it's like, but they don't really address it except by just singing a song. But one of the songs that I love is This Is Me, sung by the Bearded Lady, and then also the Little Man. But the Bearded Lady just singing This Is Me, for me, being my eyebrow self, my hairy self, I always, just think, okay, the next time somebody gives me a comment, obviously I've been linking my own videos to people, but I'm like, okay, next time, I'll just link This Is Me, sung by the Bearded Lady, then you can know what I'm thinking, what my level is. Anyway, that's a lot of chat about one honorable mention. My second honorable mention is The Sound of Music. It's a real classic. Yeah. Just really classic. Going through Nazi Germany, the Von Trapp singers, you've got lots of fun songs. I love when she makes their clothes out of curtains. It's fun. So, yeah, it's a good one, but not quite in the top 10. Third one is Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Lots of problems in that one, which is why it doesn't make it into my top 10 for sure. But it has lots of fun music, and it's kind of a fun movie if you kind of make it that this is not at all how anybody should ever act, and that it's, yeah. It's actually quite horrifying when you think about the reality of it, but if you can put that to the side for a little bit, the music is quite fun. But it's important to see it with a discerning eye and understand that that's not how things should be. But that's a lot with musicals. I mean, they're not very deep in plot and that sort of thing, generally. So, anyway, those are my 3 honorable mentions. So, without further ado, let's get on to is Singing in the Rain. What a classic. It's got great music, the acting. Cosmo Brown, so funny, really funny. And yeah, I don't know. It's a great movie. It's very classic. Lots of people have seen it. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. It's really, really good. Got great music. And it actually has a pretty decent plot as well. It's still a musical, but for a musical, it's got a pretty decent plot. It's an all-time classic. I mean, what more can you say? There's not really much more to say than that. Got lots of great music. I mean, one of my favorites is just Cosmo Brown just screwing up his face, and he does all these things. I don't even know how he does it. Anyway, it's really funny. And then Lena Lamont. Oh. I make more than Calvin Coolidge put together. A lot of great lines in that movie as well. Plot is, so-so. It's decent without being knock your socks off, but for a musical, very good. Great movie. You should see it. So, that's my top 10 list. I probably should have given a caveat at the beginning, but anyway, I'll give it now. That this is all based on movies and musicals that I've seen. There are a few West Side Story, Chicago, and Rent, which I've heard are really... Oh, and Moulin Rouge. My best friend. It's been years trying to get me to watch that. I should actually watch it. Anyway, so I haven't seen any of those 4. So if you think that one of those should be included, that's why it's not, just because I purely haven't seen it, so I can't judge it based on not having seen it. But that's my list. If you have other musicals that you like, let me know down in the comments. And let me know what your all-time favorite musical is. And I will see you next time. Goodbye, my tinglings. Thanks for watching.